every week I think to myself, this is not sustainable. You can't be this good every single week.
And yet, they do.
They are. Damn it. I thought you were waiting for me.
Gotcha.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Belooter Magooter. What's up, dude? Below deck.
You are loved. Oh, I was going to do a Jared Osman. So I'm really interested in recapping this episode. I even texted you. I wonder if we're going to be on the same page. I had a weird vibe. I don't know. But I've got a lot of thoughts about all the shit that transpired, mostly in the second half of this episode. But geez, what a great
this may
time.
Be a two-parter. I don't even know.
And after, no, I don't, it's just we're really going to get into a discussion about it. But I'm so excited, not only for what just transpired and what's going to happen moving forward, but also the fact that we did get full confirmation that this will be on the Below Deck. So we will get Below Deck Down Under in a couple of months, whenever that drops, and we'll be able to get the other side of things. That's going to be unbelievable. And we're going to come out of Below Deck retirement. I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to watch those and recap those. That's going to be a blast. I think there's three episodes featuring the Salt Lake Housewives.
It's going to be a lot.
They're going to be electric. That cast that they have on that boat, we've dipped our toe here and there in the Below Deck world enough to know you got Ben. Chef Ben is back, which is awesome. Daisy fucking rocks. Captain Jason's the man. It's a good boat. I'm excited for that. As you guys know, we love Below Deck. It's tough to cover, but stoked for that to come around. And I agree with you. Now, I don't want you to reveal where we might differ.
I'll do it when we get there. Yeah.
I just want to know if it's in regards. I want to know which situation it's in regards to. Is it the Brittany situation with Meredith? The plane. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm curious to see where you land.
Come
on. No pun intended. Hey, now.
It's not going to be a water landing. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's not going to be a water landing. I'll tell you that.
Shout out Sully.
I think that's like our fourth Sully shout out over the years, randomly.
I love Sully.
I feel like we bring him up every so often. What a guy. Well, what a fan. Big Evanescence fan?
Oh, yeah.
Sully's a big Evanescence fan?
Oh, you haven't watched the rehearsal. Never mind. Sorry.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, no, I haven't seen that one. I want to watch it with Nathan Fielder.
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard amazing things. Haven't gotten into it yet. Maybe it's time. Fantastic. Maybe this is my sign. All right, enough dilly-dally. We have so much to talk about in such a short period of time. This was a very packed 54-minute episode. Every minute counts. Everything was something. This franchise is unmatched. It is just remarkable to watch. But we start out with yoga with Captain Jason, who's leading the yoga, which I love that, just because there's going to be jokes. Heather, which has a different air to it now. She's making sex jokes, obviously, like, oh, I can't wait for downward dog and bend over or whatever the fuck. She was outed by Captain Jason. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Jason confirmed very politely, because he's a gentleman and a scholar. He just said, no, we didn't. So they didn't canoodle.
No, there was no canoodling going on there. I think that Heather was trying to do a little tongue-in-cheek, like, oh, yeah, maybe we did. Just kind of throw it out there, especially knowing with BravoCon coming up, it could be a good topic. No, it didn't happen. We kind of figured that. But, yeah, didn't happen. And I guess it's kind of funny to watch it now. I was in the middle of laughing at the fact that Brittany just didn't get a yoga mat. That was fucking great.
At least she was still doing it, though. I was actually impressed.
Doing it. She's such a fucking hot mess too. She still has like all of her zombie stuff on, like the makeup. I honestly forgot that last week was zombie week. I mean, I
did too. I was like, does she have tattoos?
I thought it was tattoos, and I'm like, what kind of dumbass tattoos are you rocking? Like, where did this come from? Didn't see anything like that. No, she still has the bite marks. I believe that's what it was the night before, but she's still got them all over her body. Did not bother to take. I guess maybe you don't want to shower before you go yoga, but like, Yeah, well, we
It's
clean it off a little bit.
vacation. Who
I guess.
cares? You know, I never shower on vacation ever, no
Gross.
matter what, or no matter how long it is,
Ew.
unbathed. That's not true at all.
Yeah.
Free
well,
water
I-
in the hotel. I shower all the time. Uh, but Brittany is talking during the whole yoga thing, and she says that she feels like she's been disproportionately piled on. Here's my take. There does seem to be a difference. Like, I don't think it's disproportionate as far as everyone's kind of getting it, especially Lisa. If you think this is disproportionate on you, like she's getting
Yeah.
smoked. The difference is Britney's is like, it's getting to a point. It really obviously reaches a point later. Maybe I don't know where you stand, but it it's not the same. Like she's such an easy target that at some point in my head, you got to chalk it up to like, look, we know who she is. We know what she's about. She's wacky. She's off the cuff. We can't just keep shitting on her all the time because then it turns into a belittling. And I don't
Yeah.
love a belittling.
No, it shouldn't be that far. Now, if she gets involved in other people's shit,
Yes.
sure, then yes, it's a free reign. Go for it. Do whatever you want. To a certain extent, of course, you know, we don't want to see too much, but if she's involved in somebody else's shit and she's trying to call somebody else out or bringing up things that she saw about other people, you have to expect to get shit on. I mean,
Yeah,
you get shit
definitely.
on anyway, but you have to expect it to ramp up a little bit. So I don't think especially on this fucking trip, you can say that it's disproportionate. We've
Well,
been
no, not
going
with
after
Lisa there.
Lisa. We've been going after Lisa since fucking day one. She's just been getting it the entire time. You don't get to say that here, but that just kind of speaks to the well-being, the mental capacity of Brittany, that she doesn't realize what's going on. She doesn't even realize that they're going after Lisa that hard. She thinks that's just par for the course, and she's only caught up in her own shit, which again aligns exactly with who I think Brittany is.
Yeah, and in this moment, and I was distinguishing intentionally because in this moment, you brought up cheating allegations against Meredith last night,
Yep.
against her husband. Like you can't expect a warm welcome after that. So no, that wasn't a disproportionate pile on. You brought
No.
up an affair allegedly via
Mhm.
TikTok. So again, like, could you look at the overall trip? You were poked and prodded. You got to you reached your limit with Meredith. Maybe I don't like. I'm not upset that she brought that up. Like I'm not like, whoa, too far. To me, I was
Yeah.
like, all right, fair game. She threw it out there, but when you get the clap back and the reaction, you can't then crawl into a hole and be like, where did that come from? It's like, well,
I
you
think it's
said Seth
also just a
cheated.
huge problem that she immediately paints it as I was trying to be helpful.
Yeah,
I was
that's not
trying to be
helpful.
a good friend. You're not. You just simply aren't. And we already heard about what you were talking about in the dressing room from Bronwyn
Yeah.
talking about Meredith. You and Meredith aren't friends, and that's mutual. That's not just you not being friends with Meredith or vice versa. You guys don't really like each other. So don't try to paint this as I was trying to help. You were being shady. So that's not going to work on anyone. It's not going to work on the viewers. Everybody knows exactly what you were doing, and you got caught doing it. And
Yep.
by the way, not that I expected her to be like precise or come up with this in a good way. It was clumsy. You didn't really have anything to back it up. You just talked about a TikTok that you saw, and then you had nothing prepared afterwards when you knew that you were going to get that smoke right afterwards.
No, she
You
didn't.
didn't have anything. You think that she did. See, that's the other thing. We can't even put her in the same box as other housewives trying to do shady shit because they at least know that it's going to come back. You're right. She probably didn't even know it was going to blow back on her.
Nope. When she gets the backlash, she's like, well, whoa, what the fuck?
What
And
did
that's
I
the
do?
crazy thing. The crazy thing is, in the brain of Brittany Bateman, she might have been being a friend. She
Yeah.
might have, if
That's a
she
really good point.
genuinely thought that, I would believe it. Be like, all
Yeah.
right, yeah, in some weird world you live in, like that somehow to you is like good friend to bring up a potential affair
Yeah.
on a TV show. But you know, do you, I guess. She's interesting because people will clearly have different stances on this as far
Yeah.
as she goes and her involvement with things. But you cannot deny that she is gold. Like she is good
Mhm.
TV. She's wacky and weird, but she's good TV.
Yep.
But meanwhile, Meredith and Lisa are in their bunk talking shit. Shocker. And Whitney catches a stray. So they call, and this is what I'm talking about with Brittany. Like, you know, who's the one without a brain? Like, oh, Tin Man. Like, the more you can't keep calling people stupid. Like, that's
Yeah.
not fun in my head.
Also,
But
wasn't it Scarecrow?
the Scarecrow is if
One
I
of the
only had a
heart?
brain. No, Scarecrow
Yeah,
is if I only
Scarecrow's
had a
brain.
brain. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Tin Man
yeah,
was
Lisa
Tin
was
Man. What
wrong.
was
Tin
Tin?
Man
Tin
was
Man wanted a
heart.
heart. Tin Man wanted a
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
The lion needed courage.
Yep.
Who else was there?
Dorothy just wanted to go home.
Dorothy just wants to go home.
She wants to go home.
I just want to go. Fuck, I just want to get back to Kansas.
What the fuck is this place? Can I go home?
That would be a great take. Someone that's just really irritated to be there, like, ah, fuck, this sucks. Just like, get me
It's
home.
awful.
Yeah, go away.
I just saw somebody hang themselves in a tree.
Anyway, Bronwyn and Meredith are talking. Dev had a really interesting take on this, and I am curious if you think there's merit to it. I think she's onto something, but Bronwyn stole the unicorn. That Jared creepy unicorn saying, "You're so loved, baby." And they're coming up with this master plan to do something with it. Meredith's like, "Ooh, let's go." Like, it looks like Uni needs a swim. So they put on costumes. I actually like this scene. I thought it was funny. Like, they're sneaking
It's
around the
very
boat.
funny.
They go and throw it off of the boat. Ha ha. Dev brought up, do you think Meredith would have done this if she wasn't called boring last episode? If Mary hadn't said, "You're so boring, you never do anything," do you think that she would have been as inclined to dress up in a costume and take this thing overboard?
You're asking me to get involved in questions that I don't want to think about because I was just enjoying the fact that Meredith was in there. We said it last week. There's a chance that Meredith was the other one in the costume, and we got very excited about it. I really wanted to just enjoy that without being analytical. But if you're asking me to put my analytics brain in,
Yeah, Tin Man or Scarecrow.
see, you're doing it too. I honestly think that nothing activates Meredith Marks more than mutual hate of a person. If you can
Okay.
sit down and you also have hate for that same person, she will sign on for literally anything. I
Okay.
actually just loved seeing it for sure, but
I
I
did
don't
too.
think I don't think that this has a whole lot to do with Mary saying that she was boring now.
Okay. All right. I was just curious, and you and Dev tend to agree on things too. So I was like, I wonder if he's
Yeah.
got that
This
same.
this actually kind of feeds more into another theory that I have for the end.
Ooh, I like that. Let's get to Brecky. Brittany joins. It's silent, obviously. Things are a little bit awkward after the night before. And Meredith uses her toe to bring up Brittany and hate, which, of course, that's the easy segue to make there.
Yep.
And she has a little Freudian slip. She's like, "Oh, we're not going there, Brittany. But I'm not even mad at this one." She keeps calling her pea brain, stupid, and not worth her time, which don't love, whatever. But she says, "My issue's with you, Whitney." It's like, well, why? In Meredith's mind, she co-signed the TikTok. By the way, knows nothing about how it happened or transpired or what Whitney's role was, just automatically jumps to, "Oh, Whitney, you're on her team." Whitney lays it out for her. Makes sense to me. She's like, "No, I presented her with options. I said, this is fucked up. You can tell her, or I'm going to tell her." I never once said, like, "Oh, yeah, Seth's having an affair." By the way, your guys' podcast is the one named Hanging by a Thread. You're the one putting clues out here, okay? We're just trying to put pieces together. He spends a lot of time in Columbus, allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when that TikTok was circulating.
So do I.
I don't really we have a lot of fun with that. I don't really think that he has a second family in Columbus.
No, neither
He's
do
way
I.
too polarizing of a person. If he's going to be in the back of an Uber and people are going to be like, "Oh, he's in the back of an Uber," it could just be somebody he works with. I don't really think that he's actively cheating on Meredith right
I don't
now.
either.
I think maybe, I mean, they did say on Hanging by a Thread that they did take a little bit of a break, which, oh man, that conversation in this episode really weird. But
Wow. This is
yeah,
wow.
that you know where my brain immediately just went to. I forgot about that scene immediately. But for Meredith and Seth, yeah, I don't think anything's actively happening right now. And I like the way that this was handled. And I wonder what Meredith's motive was, if it was just to clear the air and throw it into Whitney so that she could have a conversation about it. I don't know exactly why. I can't really speak to that. But the way that Whitney handled it was perfect. And this was another good job by Whitney. Tells Brittany to shut up pretty much. I can handle this pretty easily. And the way that she goes about it is perfect because at the end of the day, that is how these shows work. When you sit down and you get new information from somebody else, especially somebody that another person really despises and multiple people despise at this point, you give them the option. you can go to her because you're sitting here on camera showing me. You go tell her. I will go tell her to exonerate myself, or you sit on it and you bury it. But those are your only options. And Brittany decided, I'm going to bring it to her at dinner later. Stupid decision. Whitney, I don't know if she ever would have actually gone to Meredith. She may have, as like a little bit of an olive branch. We always see Whitney trying to get back into the good graces of Meredith, but I don't think that it really would have turned into a whole lot more. And I think that Whitney did a really good job of just, let's put a lid on this one. We're not going to go this far. I gave her the options, and I think Meredith responded well to it. And I think it was done, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, and then Brittany goes off on the double standard rant. There's a double standard in this group, which I have to agree with. You know, if you look
there
at
is.
how many times Lisa has brought up husbands and things like that,
Mhm.
Meredith has done this as well. Heather's done this as well. This has happened multiple times by multiple parties. It is not the end of the world. It is
Yeah.
being treated as though it is. It's being treated to the point where we're getting ultimatums now.
Mhm.
Pretty much, if you fuck with Brittany, I don't fuck with you. I'm like, well, we
Yep.
can't do that. Like, that's insane. And Heather says the same thing. She's like, that's bullshit. You can't do that. And by the way, you're getting over Lisa digging up shit on your family, telling Angie to do it too. You got over that literally within 5 seconds. It took 5 seconds of Lisa being like, I didn't do that. And you went, okay.
Yeah.
But Brittany, because you don't like her, we're going to drag her through the mud consistently. All right, cool, sweet. To the point where she says, we can't support Gout Dick and not support Brittany. I was like, reasonable. That makes
Very
sense to
reasonable.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense to me.
That immediately, and I know it's just like one little line, was kind of hoping that Angie was over it. And when it comes to Lisa, like she wasn't going to keep doing that because I do think that eventually it's
Oh,
going to
yeah,
be
that
like, all
was
right, enough,
Angie.
Angie. So Angie saying that, I'm like, all right, maybe take a step back. I was kind of hoping that you got sick earlier and then you heard that Lisa really got it. So you're going to move on because I do want everybody to kind of move on at some point. So Angie saying that very quickly, I'm like, all right, yeah, let's not try to drum this whole thing
Yeah,
back up again. I
but
don't really want to do that.
I agree with you on the
Yeah.
same page, but it does help point out, like, hey,
The
hypocrites,
double
like,
standard. Yeah.
yeah. So, yes, I agree with you. Like, let's not open that door again.
From a
But
show enjoyment standpoint, I'm like, all right, let's not do this again.
yeah,
But
which they
I
didn't.
get it. Yeah. And they didn't do it, which I was happy about.
Yeah, agreed. I agree. And Mary, it's like, Mary, help. Nah, nope,
No.
no
Nope.
point. No point.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not going to stand up for it. I do like what Mary's doing this season
She's great.
because we saw that before, especially when she was on the beach. She's like, I never thought that I'd be agreeing to Lisa Barlow, but she's making a lot of good points. And at some point, right is right, wrong is wrong. So I'm going to try to look at it that way. I think that's what she does when it gets to a certain point. But this hasn't gotten to that point yet. She's still looking at Brittany like, I don't like you. I really
Yeah.
don't like you, and I don't want to be around you. I'm certainly not going to defend you in this moment. But if it gets worse, yeah, I'll say something. Okay.
Yep. But for now, she remains silent and everyone's packing up. It's time to head out. Bronwyn, very good idea. Fly home solo.
Yeah.
A much better idea than we ever thought it was going to be. And we say the goodbyes to the crew. You know, thank you for everything. We give a big tip to everybody. Nice job, ladies. I'm glad they tipped. That was our first question when they got on the
Mhm.
boat. Are they going to remember to tip them? But
I hope it's a bigger tip than what they typically get, too.
I
I
do
mean, I
too.
imagine Bravo probably footed some of the bill, maybe
They
all of the
definitely
bill for
footed the
like the
bill.
standard, but the tip should be on the housewives, and I hope that it was a massive tip.
I agree. I really hope it was. But love the words from Captain Jason. You know, it was really nice meeting you individually. He's like, as a group, it's like a hurricane came through. I mean, like a good hurricane.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a
I
good
can't wait to see
hurricane?
what his actual reactions are during the
Oh, I
morning
know.
show.
It's going to be so. I mean, the fact that the crew is talking in the galley and saying things like,
They're the
this is the
loudest people we've ever
loudest.
had. Yeah.
We've seen some crazy shit on Below Deck. And like, if
Yeah.
they take the cake, that is really impressive. What we weren't expecting, or the cast was, I was expecting 100% for multiple reasons. But Daisy runs on the boat and runs back out with the unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was thinking about this, I was like, I don't think you can just throw shit off a boat into the ocean. I know there's a lot of
Correct.
trash in the ocean, but like we can't be littering in
Yeah.
this beautiful place. So I was confused
I
that
think
they
if
were going to
it's
let
sunk,
that happen.
sure, like, yeah, there's only so much you could do about it. But the fact that it was
Yeah.
floating and they had cameras on it, and it's also,
Yeah.
I'm assuming, a combination of Salt Lake and Below Deck producers there. somebody's going to have the bright idea. Oh, it's kind of funny. Why don't we just
Probably
send one of the
snag that
jet skis
unicorn.
out, just whip a jet ski out there, just scoop it back up and throw it in a towel. Maybe it'll dry off a little bit. We can give it back, or it won't dry off at all. And Brittany will know that it was thrown overboard. That works too.
We'll do that one instead because that's a better one.
Yeah.
And Brittany gets the unicorn back. And I think this is when I started to get the inkling of like, oh, I kind of feel bad. Like I know that she puts herself in these positions. I know she doesn't do herself any favors, but she's not a mean-spirited person.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This felt like watching her just get sad about it. I was like, yeah, I don't think Jared went to great lengths to get this for you. But at the same
No.
time, I don't know. It started to feel icky in that moment for me.
See, I think I'm going to do what you do now because I didn't feel bad. Just
Okay.
because I know what she's been doing and what we've been hearing from her daughter, the way that she handles her interpersonal
Whoa.
relationships. And then
I'm not saying she's a great person or a good mom. I
No.
firmly believe she's a terrible mother. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah. No, I know. But that's what I'm saying. I'm going to do what you usually do and try to reel us back in and be like, you know what? I do
Oh, I
at
see.
some point have some semblance of emotions that you might be able to recognize as feeling bad, but it's not quite there. I don't
Okay.
really give a shit, especially because we know where that unicorn came from and who it came from. And we've been talking about it for a while, and you're still seemingly, even though every single woman in the group who has any relationship with you is yelling at you to cut it off so that you can have a relationship with your daughter, you still chose to bring the unicorn that has Jared's voice on it, and you're still talking about it and saying that you have sentimental feelings towards this unicorn. It's kind of fucked. I don't give a shit.
All right, that's fine. That's fair. Maybe it's because of what happens later. I'm just now
Yeah.
feeling sad. I don't know. And then we get it. We get this cut scene of obviously cameras were down because they were traveling. And apparently Meredith lost her shit and her mind at the airport to the point where people felt uncomfortable. It was a lot. And she made a scene. I guess Brittany sat in front of Lisa and Meredith. Tough spot to be in. I wish somebody switched seats with her. But Mary tells us that Meredith must have dwelled on this. And then we get like texts. Fucking unhinged. This is crazy. All this other shit. I guess she shook Brittany's seat, pulled her hair, grabbed the phone, all this other stuff. Meanwhile, Lisa is commentating from the side saying, just give her the TikTok, give her the fucking TikTok, stuff like that. Now, obviously, we have a lot to unpack here. The thing that remains constant in my head with everything people are explaining, that this happened, that happened, that this happened, that happened, I can see Meredith doing these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I can hear Lisa's reactions to them without seeing the scene. I'm like, this does track. Because a lot of times when we get these moments of we didn't get it on camera, everything that's said, I try to like mentally play out the scene in my head. Like,
Yeah.
Can I see this happening? Would Meredith say that? Would Lisa do this? I'm like, yes. Okay. So in my head, it gives more merit to the situation.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can do this without going fully into what I think happened, because we do obviously unpack a lot of it as we get everybody's perspective with various sit downs with other people, with Bronwyn, who wasn't there, trying to get a handle on the situation and understand what was going on. And then Heather has multiple sit downs. So we do kind of get it. It was kind of cool. It was actually very cinematic, honestly. The way that it was structured was great. Because
for
we
me
didn't see
taking
what
notes,
happened.
it was phenomenal.
Oh, it was a fucking yeah. Oh yeah.
No,
because we
it's
got the
good
full
because we
structure.
went boop, boop, boop. We didn't jump
And we
in
fill
between.
in gaps and we don't do anything, no in between scenes. So it was really well structured in that regard because we don't know what happened. So we've got no point of reference. All we have is, can we see Meredith doing this? Can we see Lisa doing this? Can we see Brittany doing this? Can we see Heather doing this? So that all of those things kind of play into it. And then the way that they do it moving forward is we're going to fill you in and you're going to have basically a decision to make as the viewer as to saying who's credible and who's not credible, who's got an axe to grind, who doesn't have an axe to grind, who are we actually believing and who are we not believing. That was fucking awesome because you're really going through a lot of loops and stuff in your brain. So I really enjoyed how that played out. But I mean, if you want me to, I can tell you what I think happens, but I don't think it really works that way right now.
Is that rhetorical? You actually
Nope.
asked me that.
I was asking you, yeah.
Oh, do you want to? Is it going to hit harder if you save it for later?
I don't really know when it's gonna hit because we get to go through all of it. No, let's just go through the scene by scene, and
Okay.
we'll unpack the scenes. Although we did get a very weird prominent Whitney scene.
Well,
Fucking
we're
hated.
gonna yeah, we unfortunately have to discuss that. So again, just to paint the scene, this ends with Brittany sobbing,
Mhm.
melting, all of these other words to describe, just hysterically crying. Our first sit down is Mary and Bronwyn. Mary says it was pure chaos, and she acknowledges, like, yeah, Brittany needs to own some things, and pretty much acknowledging, I don't love Brittany, but at the end of the
Right.
day, right is right and wrong is wrong. And I think the most important thing to keep in mind for all of these scenes lumped together is where Mary stands. One, Mary doesn't mince words. She's going to tell
Nope.
you how she feels. She's usually, I would say 99% of the time, gets a good grasp of the situation.
Yep.
She does not like Brittany at all.
Mhm.
These are all very important things to note as we keep trucking forward. And then we get JB husband boss with Lisa Barlow. And they're driving. She's like,
Lisa's
Meredith is
eating some
so
Wendy's.
hurt. She's eating some Wendy's, probably plugging, but whatever. Meredith is so hurt. She was saying just horrible stuff to me. And this doesn't bode well at all because JB being like, you didn't say anything, right? She's like, oh my God, I would never. I've just never seen her that upset. I'm like, okay, well, I don't believe you already. So not a great start for Lisa. Then we go to Heather and Brittany. Brittany's clearly rattled. You can see her. She's obviously not handling this whole thing well. And she breaks down the scene to Heather. Heather had fallen asleep during this whole altercation and woke up somewhere in the midst of it and ends up
Mhm.
getting yelled at by Lisa and Meredith in turn, according to Heather. So this is all she said until we can figure out what actually happened. But I guess it was a vortex of bullying. And 4 hours in, she woke up. There was apparently hair pulling, shook her seat as she got up to go to the bathroom, and like pointed at her and was like, this one here, or something like that. And Heather heard Lisa say, you fucked up. Show her the TikTok. You fucked up. Show her the TikTok. I really started to feel bad for Brittany when she says things like they're trying to make me feel small because that's where I'm
Mhm.
starting to get to. I'm like, oh, now we're belittling this person. You might not like her, but just
Yeah.
maybe leave her alone. And she starts to get into her relationship with Lisa, and then we can have a discourse. We just had to lay out the scene for you guys, but there's a, and we called this, and that's what sucks. She was just convenient because Lisa was on the
Mhm.
outs with the majority of the group. This was
Yeah.
easy for her to pick up the phone and call Brittany. That being said, Brittany was talking to her probably daily,
Yep.
multiple times a day about what's going on with Lisa's life. So in Brittany's head, she, we know Brittany feels like a sister after a lunch. So
Yep.
multiple phone calls, she's probably like, oh my God, Lisa's my best friend ever. She's going to be my bridesmaid at Jared's wedding. So to then get flipped on, I like this is so much emotional damage coming in at the same time, 30,000 feet in the air.
Yeah. So here's the thing with Brittany and Lisa's relationship. Obviously, we've talked about this. I do still think that eventually, and maybe this will throw a wrench into the whole thing, but I still think that eventually Lisa will have a bit of a downfall because Brittany will divulge some information. This actually might accelerate that
Yeah,
if enough people talk to Brittany and say Lisa is not your friend.
never
Lisa will
liked her.
burn you at the second that you can. I tend to think between what's going on and what Brittany's saying, Brittany has the capability of being a professional victim for sure, but
And
I do think
exaggerating.
that this was a lot, and I do think it was a lot more than what we're getting into, and I think that Mary's view of this whole thing is probably in line with more of what happened, and the fact that she was really just honing in on Meredith. That says to me that, yeah, Meredith was probably relentless, so I don't really blame Brittany for having a mental breakdown. I mean, that is a
No,
long fucking trip. That is a long time to
you're
just be even
trapped.
overhearing people behind you, if you want to say that that's what the truth is. If you overhear people just talking about you, and one woman in particular right behind you, calling you a bunch of names, which I would imagine, and going on and on about how shitty your life is, yeah, that fucking sucks. So I'm sure that that was a main situation that led to Brittany's breakdown for sure. With Lisa in particular, I don't know necessarily that it's more Lisa was piling on, or simply just the fact that she wasn't standing up for Brittany. Because that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here, that Brittany really thought Meredith was going in on her and Lisa didn't say a word, which I do think that probably did happen. Because like we said, she'll burn you immediately. You don't really have that close of a relationship. She's not going to defend you in any regard. And if a friend of hers who's much more powerful, which I think that's how Lisa looks at friendships, a more powerful friend is sitting there having a gripe with you, she's not going to defend you. So I think this was a big wake-up call for Brittany, realizing she's not defending me. She's not doing anything to help me here. And this is a big problem for me.
But you're saying that I'll save it.
Yeah, I'm trying to save it as much as possible.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
At least until after Lisa and Heather talk.
Okay, that makes sense. But in Brittany's eyes, she claims Lisa is as culpable.
Yep.
Which, again, we'll save the rest of that definition for later. But her implication at Meredith and Lisa were on a warpath together. They burned me. I'm really upset. Don't know if I can come back from it. Heather is fully in support of Brittany. And even when she's going through it, just, I know that I'm the unsinkable rubber ducky, but golly, it's getting tough. It's just.
Does she come up with this shit?
I don't fucking know. I do not know, but I enjoy it. So we get to Bronwyn and Whitney for what I thought was going to be a debrief, right?
Yeah.
Started out
a little bit.
Started out that way. Yeah. You know, Whitney's like, yeah, she went ham on Brittany. She was taunting and terrorizing. Lisa was saying, you fucked up. You fucked up. There was pure rage. Bronwyn's more on the side. I think she's kind of neutral, not neutral, but she says things like, you know, there's no videos. There's no repercussions as far as, you know, an air marshal or TSA or anything. If it was to this degree, I would think that somebody would step in, but she can also believe the other side of it too. I think she's just looking for more evidence at the time.
Well, I think
but Bronwyn's
doing a really good job of not picking sides immediately, which usually does lead to bigger problems down the road. And she's been really doing a good job, I think. In the beginning of the season, she had it out with Lisa. She had issues with Lisa. There were unresolved issues from the end of last season into the off season and the way that this season started. But I think where we have Bronwyn, and she's learned, I'm hoping she's learned from her mistakes from last year. She's in the middle right now. And she's just trying to get an idea of what happened. But she's also being incredibly practical in her thinking. She's doing what all of us at home are doing. Why is there no fucking footage? I know that, yeah, maybe they fly alone. Maybe they have this. They probably have a producer on the plane. No one did this. We just saw this on Potomac. Their mics were off. The cameras were down. And a producer pulled their cell phone out to video what was going on. We have no footage of this. No passerby. We looked at the seating chart. There's a bunch of other people in between. Nobody turned around and was like, all right, this is getting ridiculous. I'm going to film this. This is Meredith Marks. We're going to take a video of this. What do you think happened?
Because I was doing the same thing you're doing, same thing everyone else is doing, trying to figure out how that's possible.
But you're thinking about Billy Idol in First Class in The Wedding Singer?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, waiting for the song to come up. Waiting for Adam Sandler to serenade us. No, I'm thinking it's First Class on an international flight, right? So you're not going to get people up there that are looking for this kind of shit. One. So you might have just a different crew up there, a different crowd that's not quick to grab their phone. That's more like, oh my God, this is fucking deplorable. That there's no way. Number two, no way production sitting first class, not happening. And three, as far as the ladies recording it, we've had so many issues with recording the group.
Yeah.
That this group, I could believe, didn't pull out the phone to avoid the scrutiny of the group for recording the situation. All a long shot. It's all a long shot, but that could have happened.
Or everybody was actually asleep and they're just piecing this together.
That too. Could be as simple as that.
Yeah.
But I don't think we got more about that because I don't think that's what Bronwyn wanted to talk about. She wanted to use this as a segue to say, well, she wasn't the only one causing a ruckus on a plane. Todd was looking at pictures of some lady in lingerie. Apparently, Todd was cheating on me via an airplane. I caught wind of this whole thing. And she believes it. Because Whitney's like, well, that didn't happen. She's like, oh, no, it totally 100% happened. They knew where he was sitting. Like, this all makes total sense to me. If he talked to me about receiving photos, I would have been fine with it. It's the fact that he didn't talk to me about it. I would fuck other people. if we had an agreement. Or sorry, agreement's not said yet. If we had talked about it.
Yep.
I was so
floored.
whiplashed. I was like, what?
I had no idea what was going on. And it's, we posited the theory that maybe Bromley got on this show knowing it would ruffle Todd's feathers and it would get to a point where she could divorce him. It's kind of the same situation, but maybe not based on this conversation.
I have a theory. I have a theory. This actually sold me on that conspiracy, that this is all a play to get Todd to divorce her because she does not have a prenup. All right. The more and more we talk about Todd's infidelities, things like that, the more weird it is to me that she's allowing it to continue a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because he's such a private person, because his job is so big that there's no way that this doesn't have ramifications in the real world. If this is coming out and his business partners are just like, oh, this is messy, this is bad, blah, blah, blah. So she's leaning into it. And I think what this does here, okay, this exonerates the previous infidelities because she's open to the idea, okay, if we have a discussion and you want to do something else and I want to do something else, as long as we're upfront about it. And we get there because Whitney divulges way too much to us. Like
nothing that really shocked me. This didn't shock me at all.
No, it wasn't shocking in the context. Like what she was saying, I'm like, I mean, we've been making this judgment for years now. We assumed that I thought they were swingers. I think we talked about that before.
They probably were.
They're swinger adjacent. They might have done that too, but it's more like, you know, if Justin is catching a vibe and wants to do something, he tells me, and vice versa. The rules get a lot looser as they go, and she gets a little more comfortable with the conversation because it ends with her saying, when the kids are out of the house, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. I was like, well, that's not the same thing. But
it's not the same thing at all. She really like blew the lid off of it too, because I thought, like you thought, it was just going to be kind of that, I don't even want to call it surface level. It was a mid-level conversation about swinging and being in an open relationship, which I don't fucking care about. We already, like we said, we already kind of thought that about Justin and Whitney. We really thought that that's what was going on, especially with all the weird sex things that happened and the painting and all that and whatever. But she just kept going. And then I didn't really expect Bronwyn to reciprocate, because then she goes into, you know, I've talked about having an agreement before, but that's not how we're going to do this. That's not how he wants to do things. But here he is texting women on an airplane and he's getting pictures taken. So
no, they haven't talked about it.
Well, I got the vibe that they did. I got the vibe that they did. Oh man, we're gonna have to hear more about it. I could have sworn that the way that she was talking about it, it seems like they had talked about it, but it wasn't an option really. But the way that this is going, it seems like she wants it to be that option, or it's what you said, where she wants to get to the point that he divorces her.
So to finish my theory, I think she wants to put this on the table so that when he steps out of line again and there's infidelity, she can simply say, he broke the agreement. I can't do this anymore. It's like the perfect way to then justify the fact that he may have been unfaithful up until this point, but she's open to it. They just haven't had that conversation yet to lay out the rules. But when he breaks the actual rules, now it's a problem. Now I'm going to divorce you. So I think it's all kind of leading up to that, because I don't know how you conversation back from this. It's so strange. So strange how it ramped up so fast.
But the way that it happened too, it's like we just expect to get debrief after debrief after debrief with everybody on the plane and everybody who wasn't on the plane talking about this. And they just get that conversation over with so quickly and turn it into that. It's like, where did this come from?
I don't know.
I actually forgot about that too, because we did see the Todd, the stuff on Twitter about Todd being on a plane, and we're like, oh God, dude, are you fucking kidding me? But in this context, I didn't expect it.
No, not at all. Especially like the back and forth conversation of like, oh, what's your agreement? What is it?
They were like salivating. They were like, like fucking community, and they were brain sharing. They're like, ooh, let's swap ideas. Maybe we swap husbands. Just
kidding. Unless you're into it.
Yeah, man.
Am I kidding?
Sex Justin.
Should we? Like that's the vibe I got. So I don't know. To each their own. No kink shaming here. It's just the way that this was rolled out was insane. So let's get to Angie K and Electra. Just real quick. This is such a teenager scene, and we watched her on the Wife Swap, and she's like very much a teenager in her responses and things like that. Angie brings up her sweater 'cause she's wearing a Greek sweater, and Electra's like, "I don't care."
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and I wish I could tell Angie this. She'll care someday. Someday
Yeah.
she will appreciate all of this stuff. I don't think forcing it all the time is going to help you get to your goal.
Well, we saw that last year too, and it was just a one-off comment, but you and I had a lot of fun with it, where Electra was sitting there and Angie was going on and on and on about something and this and that and whatever. And Electra immediately goes, "Are you going to turn this into a Greek thing? Like, are
That
you
was
going
this
to?"
year.
That was this year. I thought that was
Yeah.
last year. I think that was at the end of last. I don't remember. But either way, we've seen that, and now also having the point of reference from Wife Swap showing that Electra is way closer to Sean than she is to Angie. It's like, okay, I understand that. You spend a lot more time with Sean. You spend a lot more time maybe with his family. Like, yeah, you've got your papu, you've got this and that, and all these other Greek things that Angie's doing. But you do spend a lot of time with Sean. So it makes sense that right now, and again, like you said, eventually she's going to care about her Greek
She'll care.
heritage. Eventually she's going to move on to that and want to know more about her family. But she's a teenager. She doesn't really give a shit. Going into what she likes about Sean's family was funny. She's like, I really like the foundation of Dad's family. He was a trainer. His dad was a trainer. His grandpa was a
Horses.
trainer. We've got horses. We're an American roots over here. This is what I want to do. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. But it's not really hitting. And I just love that Angie will not stop. And she's
Nope.
trying to pull at all the different heartstrings, talking about her dad's life and what he was doing over in Greece and how he had nothing. And now we've got this roof over our head because of where he came from. And Electra's like, I don't, whatever. Maybe someday, maybe in the future.
The only thing that landed was, that's why you ride a horse as expensive as my Porsche. She's like, whoa, what? It's
Yeah,
like, yeah,
whoa.
dude.
Stop talking about all this Greek shit. What are we talking about?
That was all built on the bare feet of your papu.
Yep.
Who got this family where it is. Have some damn respect.
Have
Crazy
some
kids.
respect.
But yeah, she'll get there. She'll get there at some point. So let's get into it. Let's tie a bow on this with our last couple of meetups. We get Heather and Lisa. Lisa's an hour late. No surprise there.
Yep.
She walks in. Heather's silent. Before it's even offered up, or before Heather asks anything, she immediately goes into, Meredith was so upset and I wanted to soothe her. And we've seen Heather on the yacht, and she tells her flat out, Brittany doesn't want to be around you right now. Well, I didn't do anything. But the more that Lisa talks, I'm like, well, you're saying things that you did, because she's like, all I said was like, show her the fucking TikTok, show her the fucking TikTok. And all we have to do at home is add the rest of it that allegedly happened. Pretty much saying you deserved it or you fucked up, things like that. But sitting there leaning around the seat, just claiming, show her the fucking TikTok, show her the fucking TikTok, while this one on your right is having a tantrum. You're smirking. Is this where the thing comes out finally?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is where it comes in.
Let's hear it.
You know where I am with Heather. You know where I am every season with Heather. She goes too far. She's trying to bury Lisa into all of this. I think that Lisa, up until this point, before we get to Mary, up until this point, Lisa's rendition of what happened is probably the closest to the truth. Meredith was out of control. Did we really expect Lisa to be able to bury her in and like try to control her, grab her arm and pull her over? Probably not, but she probably could have done more. Fine. That's neither here nor there. I think this is the closest to the truth that we got. And Heather has an axe to grind. Heather is going after Lisa still. She's trying to lump her in with this. This is a Meredith issue. Yeah, you can talk about Brittany and Lisa's relationship. I don't really give a fuck about this. This is a Meredith issue. Meredith was going balls to the wall, doing a lot. Yeah, maybe it was a little bit overboard. She didn't get to the point where the TSA had to get involved and restrain her or anything. Fine, whatever. But I don't think that Lisa is remotely involved in this as much as Heather is playing it out to be. Heather's doing this to throw Lisa back under the bus, to keep this a Lisa issue. And she's not nearly talking about Meredith enough. This is a Meredith issue. Meredith is the one who's bullying Brittany. You want to make this all about Lisa because she didn't stop her doing it. You want to make this all about Lisa because she said, just show her the fucking TikTok. That makes sense to me. If you're sitting here and you're like, maybe this will calm her down if you just show her the fucking TikTok, I would probably get a little fed up too. So if she said that and Lisa goes as far to say, yeah, I was leaning over saying, show her the fucking TikTok, I would get pissed off too. But Heather is trying to make this such a Lisa issue when it's only a Meredith issue, and it's a Brittany issue because, as we already said, she is a professional victim. But at some point, yeah, Meredith went overboard, and it was a lot. And it was a 5-hour, 4-hour flight, whatever they said it was. I don't really care. But this is not really a Lisa issue. And she's trying to pin it on her because she's doing what Heather does every season. She takes it too fucking far. You had her. You were good on the yacht. If you kept it on that topic, fine. But now you're throwing everything. And here's the other part. Heather's a fucking liar. Go back to the Jen Shaw thing where she got punched in the face and she would refuse to do it. You always spin all these narratives. You're always doing all this self-serving bullshit. I think Heather did what we said was going to happen. She sees a way in which, yeah, I can kind of align myself over here. I'm not going to tie myself to the sinking ship of Lisa, but I see where everybody's going with this. They're kind of fed up with everything going on. How do I now spin this back into being a Lisa issue? That's all she's trying to do. She should be where everybody else is, where Mary is most of all, and making this about Meredith. It is unhinged behavior. It's unbelievable. But the fact that now she's sitting here, and even when her conversation ended with Brittany, she was still trying to make it a Lisa issue. She's doing it again. She does it every year.
You're missing. I'm not saying you're wrong. I could see that. I don't agree with you. And I feel like one big part where you keep saying Heather's trying to do this. Brittany told Heather that Lisa was just as culpable as Meredith. So it's not like she's.
Does that matter? It's Brittany.
That matters a lot.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it does. It's Brittany. You have to understand the source. I didn't put
but that's also in the aftermath of this fucking crazy flight.
And
so
where was Heather the entire fight? Hold on. Where was Heather the entire fight?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying where the potential holes might be.
But the holes only exist when Heather was asleep for 4 hours. She's the one who said that. I'm not even saying this. She said it to Brittany and she said it to Lisa. How many times did she say, I was asleep? I was asleep. She did the inconsistent thing with Lisa. She's trying to grind this axe and go after Lisa. But then right after she says something, she's like, well, I don't know because I was asleep. How do you know all of these things? You're putting all this emphasis on what Brittany was saying. And again, I'm not excusing Meredith's behavior because I do think it's fully a Meredith issue. But I don't think that Lisa's remotely as culpable as Meredith is. And yet Heather is sitting here trying to make this a Lisa issue. So it just kind of feeds back into what I said was maybe going to happen because it is always a slippery slope with Heather. When she's trying to push this agenda and she's trying to overproduce, she does shit like this. And this is, again, and this is 3 seasons in a row that she's doing this. I just figured this is what was going to happen. So I think
but you're also speaking in like certainties that this is going to happen. We don't know.
Of course it's going to fucking happen.
I have a couple
I'm
things.
pretty sure. I think the truth is between Lisa and Mary, leaning towards what Mary was saying. Think about it, and we'll get to Mary's conversation. Did Mary say even a word about Lisa?
No, but Mary's also not going to talk about other people when they're not there. Mary is the deciding vote. If she says whatever she says, I'm going to believe. So like that's my biggest thing is I'm not going to jump to conclusions. All I'm going to do is try and map out how both could be possible. Because yes, Heather's side, that your theory makes sense. If that happens, I'd be like, yep, that tracks. We've seen it before. We're seeing it again. Totally. On the flip side, when I look at them, Lisa and Meredith, I've watched Frick and Frack go back and forth and fire each other up and go after somebody. I've seen this movie before. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Lisa leaned further into it and now she's trying to play cleanup, which goes back to the JB husband boss scene where it's like that could have easily been like, ask me if I said anything. And then he doesn't. She's like, no, I didn't say anything. Sure. So I don't have a side. That's how that could happen. That's how the Heather thing could happen. There's somewhere here.
I think I more so believe, and going into Bronwyn's conversation with Whitney too, where Bronwyn's like, I don't really, think that Whitney's necessarily telling the truth, because if Whitney's our other eyewitness, she also has problems with Lisa, and she wanted to grind that axe just as much as Heather did, and she lies all the time. So I'm not putting a lot of stock into the things that are being said about Lisa. And again, I just don't think it's that big of a deal that Lisa was trying to get her to show the TikTok and that she wasn't controlling Meredith. I just think it's way more of a Meredith issue. And if this is what we're going to keep doing, then I don't really want to deal with that.
Yeah, if that's what comes out, sure, I agree. I'm more curious about which way it's going to go. And, she doesn't do herself any favors in my eyes because she ends the scene with, well, like, I draw the line at talking about people's marriages. It's like, what? Like, you do that all the time. So when you finish it with things like that, that doesn't give me a lot of confidence that it didn't happen because you just lied now. Like, that's my thing. And I don't even, again, we've talked about that before. I don't think that's a lie in Lisa's mind. I don't think she
No.
connects the dots.
I also
But
think Lisa just came off of that trip just getting shit on the whole time. So maybe she's a little bit more vulnerable to certain things. Like when she raises her voice and just keeps going after it, Heather did just go after her for like 3 straight days on a trip like 2 days ago. So I don't really think it's that big of a deal that she got all amped up and she's like, this is just more of the same shit. Are we really going to do this again? I get why she just started raising her voice and saying fuck every 2 words.
I don't
That makes
care about
total
that.
sense to me. That's not something that I feel like anybody should really hone in on and be like, oh, she's guilty because she did this. It's like, no, she just went through it for 3 days. And Heather was at the spearhead of all of that. So if Heather's going to try to spin this into a Lisa problem again, yeah, if I'm Lisa, I'm going to freak the fuck out too. But I do think, and this is part of my fun theory, the way that Bronwyn was talking and the way that she's been moving, my fun theory is why doesn't Bronwyn just start being friends with Lisa again? If Bronwyn, Lisa, and Meredith kind of team up and then go with everybody else, I'm okay with that. I think
I don't want that. I don't want that at all. Meredith's losing me. I don't think that she's not doing great.
Nah, Meredith doesn't lose me.
Yeah, well, you've also been a Lisa sympathizer the whole season, so this also tracks as well because you've been on the side of
I've been on the side of like I need her to acknowledge because I do think that that's what needed to come from the boat trip is just fucking acknowledge that you do the same shit that everybody else does and just say you're sorry for it because then at least it'll be like, all right, let's bring you back down to the pack. She's back down to the pack whether she likes it or not, just based off of her performance and the way that people are going after her. The fact that the entire cast, minus Meredith, can say anything to Lisa and get under her skin. She is back in the middle of the pack with everybody else. She's not head and shoulders above anybody else. So I'm good with it now. I'm fine. We can move on and start kind of restructuring and getting to a point where, all right, yeah, we've got a little spat between teams here. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm cool with that too. I don't know. I don't want Bronwyn to do that simply because that to me is the easy way forward. I like that she's still doing her own
I don't
thing.
think I think the easy way forward is going your own way and just kind of doing your own thing. I think if you align yourself, because I do think that like a really good structure of Housewives, and if Bronwyn's going to be on the show for a long time, and Lisa is too, is being friends with somebody one season, then having a falling out for 2 seasons, then coming back for 2 seasons.
Oh, well,
like that is something that she could line herself up with. So I think at this point, it was just a weird vibe that I got from Bronwyn when she was talking to Whitney that like she doesn't really believe it. And if this is how it's going to turn, I could see her maybe cozying up a little bit, but in a way different way than she was in the beginning of last season.
I don't mind if they're friends again at some point. As you just said, that's the merry-go-round of Housewives. It's more so it's too soon to just be like, move on. I think that it's all going to come down to if Mary says that the Lisa stuff is not what actually happened.
Yeah.
That's probably an easier bridge to mend between Lisa and Bronwyn. I think that everything's going to hinge on Mary, which takes us right to Mary's scene. And Meredith comes in. You can tell out of the gate that Mary is genuinely concerned about Meredith because she's like, how are you? And she's like, I feel pretty good. She's like, no, like, how are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Meredith is so disassociated.
Oh,
and
my God,
granted, she was probably allegedly on a cocktail of Xanax and God knows how many bottles of wine or glasses of wine, which is probably why you can't remember what the fuck happened. But Mary's like
or how long it took.
Right. She's trying to get her to like recognize the situation. And she's like, well, what do you think happened? And Mary's like, I don't think, like, I was there. She's like, well, you were sleeping. It's like, okay, well, you can't make the claim. And Mary acknowledges, like, yeah, but every time I woke up, you were still going. I was like, that's a great line. And she's like, but you were, Meredith's defense doesn't make sense. You're on the other side of the plane. You're in first class. She's in the row above you, like to the left. What are you talking about? And also, you're going to claim that Mary was sleeping. So you're close enough to decide whether or not she was awake.
Right.
But too far away for Mary to have heard your outburst.
And her going back into saying like, well, I mean, I know how long the flight was. I watched 2 movies.
I watched 2 movies and took a nap.
So you're telling me that all I was doing that whole time, there's only so much time in a flight. You had 2 movies and a nap in there. How much time did I possibly have to go after Brittany? It's like, what? Like, really? Math. That's what we're doing? Now, I will throw this out there. I don't think there was hair pulling. I think that was way over exaggerated. I do think that she probably did get up and pull the chair a little bit when she went to the bathroom or something and said this one right here, and in the middle of a sentence with Lisa while she was talking shit on her, probably did shake the chair and point at her. But again, there's certain things, and we'll never really know the full truth, but there's certain things that are definitely going to get overblown in all of this. And it really just comes down to, who do you believe on the cast? I'm not even talking about us. I'm talking about the cast kind of drawing a line in the sand. Like, all right, some of this shit is kind of crazy. Some of this is inconsistent. I do think everybody's going to come to believe Mary and be like, yeah, Meredith was unhinged. But everything else is kind of up for grabs right now. How much do you want to say that Lisa was involved in it?
Because even Lisa was like, I've never seen her like that. She was crazy. So that's what I'm like.
No, that part is, I think that part is very easy to see. I think that everybody on the cast is going to be like, yeah, no, Meredith definitely went overboard. But the other little things that happened along the way, like Lisa's involvement, whether or not did she pull her hair or whatever, like those things, there's going to be some certain things up for grabs. Like, do you really want to believe it? And which way do you want to go with this? Because that's going to affect the story for the rest of the season.
No, I agree. It's just as they're going back and forth, all you're getting is that Meredith doesn't know what happened. That's what I got. You don't know what happened because their timeline's crazy. You're like, and also to say
blacked out in rage or drunk. I don't know.
I don't know. But to say like, oh, it was what, like 15 minutes. And she's like, it was longer than that. And she's like, oh, what, 30 minutes? It's like, well, if we're going to play math, you just doubled it.
Yeah. Like, you just 100% increase. Yeah.
That's a pretty substantial
Can we keep
raise.
Doing this? All right, fine. Not a half an hour, an hour.
It was 2 hours. It was the whole flight. All right. It was the whole flight. I couldn't handle it. But Mary is more concerned about her well-being than anything. It's not even about the situation. It's like, I need you to remember. Like, I just need you to show me that you're not losing your fucking mind.
Yeah. That's
and acknowledge
all of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, acknowledge what went on. And like, she keeps trying to tell Mary what she saw, but then says, I can't speak for what people did or didn't see. That's all you're doing right now.
Yeah.
You're dictating what people did or did not see. We don't know. What I do know for a fact, Mary doesn't like Brittany. Nope. There is no reason for her to go to bat for Brittany right now, other than one, concern for you, Meredith, because you lost your shit that bad. And two, as she said, right is right and wrong is wrong. So Mary is the gospel in my mind in this whole situation. Everything she's saying is exactly what happened. And the fact that like a good defense is not you were asleep because of her rebuttal. Yeah. And every time I woke up, guess who was still yelling? You psycho. So I don't know. I think that her to go in a confessional and say, I think that like this is the most unhinged comment I've ever heard. I think Whitney is in Mary's ear. What?
Yeah.
She doesn't like Whitney. She wouldn't
like
listen
they're hiding in the walls. That's all I'm hearing is they're in the walls and I can hear them scratching. It's like you might be losing your mind. There might be
she is.
And let's not forget too, last week, and I said something earlier in this episode, last week we had Mary look at Meredith differently because she talked to Lisa about how Meredith isn't a good friend. And she came to that realization on her own. I can't believe that I'm believing Lisa right now, but it does make sense. And I am seeing those things. So you do that and you build the foundation from there to what she was doing to Brittany on the plane. Mary is genuinely concerned. Mary could just completely clean her hands and walk away and not deal with any of this shit. And we've seen that in the past. But the fact that she's this involved, and I know she's been getting more and more involved, and she's involved with a lot of different things and a lot of different people, which we love. But this is a different type of involvement. This is I need to sit down with you to make sure you're not going fucking nuts. And all I'm hearing from you is that you might be going fucking nuts. And I'm concerned.
And all it does for me, watching this at home, you're not doing yourself any favors as far as these allegations against Seth.
Yeah.
These reactions tell me between that and naming your podcast hanging by a thread, something's going on. Like you're clearly not fully trusting what he's doing, or you wouldn't be having a meltdown.
My view of Seth is based off of Seth and not Meredith. Like, it doesn't help that Meredith's doing all of these things, but the fact that like Seth was so involved in Next Gen and he was hanging out with his kids, like I genuinely believe that Seth loves his family so much that he's not out there doing all of these things, because those things would come to light in a much more explicit way than just an Uber driver saw this and here's my TikTok of my floating head talking about this. It's like those shits come out all the time. There's probably one out there right now about somebody who's on the show right now and it'll come out next year when we film that, and the whole thing will fucking start over again. But the fact that she's acting like this, it's like you are really insecure about all of these things. And yet I'm still sitting at home watching this, and I'm like, Seth loves his family. I don't think he's doing any of these things, but you are certainly not helping, lady.
The only reason I'm still like, maybe, is because of Meredith. That's the only reason.
1,000%.
If you just stopped, I'd be like, there's no way Seth's cheating on you. Now I'm like, there's a chance now because of you. But let's get to some questions, see what the audience had to say about it.
I use the seating chart as the picture for questions today.
Well, as you can see by that seating chart, Mary is way too far away from Meredith to hear anything.
Way too far away.
Crazy.
From Car Color, do y'all really believe the plane story? I feel like FAs would have gotten involved and intervened if it was that bad. That just kind of speaks to the level. I feel like where we started when we got off the plane and we started hearing what was going on and seeing the text messages. That's my first thought. Okay, it really wasn't that bad because it doesn't seem like the flight attendants got involved in any way and nobody said anything like that. But when we start piecing it together, yes, I do think what Meredith was doing in her behavior was like probably right at that limit, right before they actually needed to get involved. And she was just probably berating her, but doing it in a way that she was talking to Lisa the whole time, hoping that Brittany would turn around and say something so that she could get involved and then flight attendants would get involved. But it never quite got over there, but it is as close to the line as possible in my eyes.
I think you get more of a leash probably in first class as well.
That's a good point, yeah. From JD Lakin, still very unclear about what Whitney and Bronwyn did or did not reveal about their marriages. I think I'm going to need like a week or so to sit on that. There was a lot going on in this episode alone. This was such a weird little side quest. I don't think I even really know what they said. I think I might need. I don't want to watch the scene again because it made me uncomfortable, but I do want to watch the scene again so that I can further understand what the fuck they were talking about. I was very confused.
I was as well. I don't know what happened. I don't know where it came from. And just shocking. Not shocking at the reveals. I mean, on Bronwyn's side, yeah. Whitney, no. But yeah, I just don't know how that happened. I don't know how we got there.
This is also a very good point from Celine Bartels. How did Heather not notice anything until the end of the flight? She's literally right next to them. She is right next to Lisa and Meredith. So the fact that she kept talking about how asleep she was a little weird. But again, I still think she has an axe to grind.
Well, if you're on a 3-day bender on a boat.
True. Yeah, Heather did fucking go ham too.
Yeah. From Max EV 374, was it mean to throw the unicorn overboard? Yeah, a little. And that's probably because I feel bad now. If the plane didn't happen, probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so at all. Oh, here you go. Point for me. Princess Pennifer. Heather is engineering and enjoying taking down Lisa and Meredith. Revenge for season 1.
There you go.
I don't think you even need to engineer anything for Meredith right now. I mean, she's kind of doing that on her own, losing her fucking mind. But yeah, I do think that she's throwing Lisa in there.
Oh, Rachel Nicholas is Meredith hyping up the drama now because Mary called her boring.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Point for you.
Mm-hmm.
From Bree Polo, Brittany didn't pull out her phone to video any of the flight.
I know.
She might still be like in traumatic states, just trying to deal with all of that from last year.
Yeah, there's a lot of people questioning the obvious. Why did no one step in? Why is there no phones? We don't know. Mary's going to have to clear it all up for us. Mary did ask Meredith to wake up and do something, and Meredith said, "Hold my wine."
Oh,
from Joanna Pickles.
That's a pretty good point. From Koya Baby, in Mary We Trust, over under, they'll release unseen producer footage at the reunion. If there was a producer on that flight and they did get something and they want to hold on to this until the reunion, that would be a very good reveal because we would want that the whole time. I don't have faith that they'll do that, but
neither do I. This kind of leans into my theory. You got to do some stepping stones to get there, but from Shadow Potato, I think she's just saying that to cover up for being embarrassed and trying to salvage his image in regards to Todd in the picture. There's something more there. This is not just a one-off like, oh, this happened. This is she's taking steps to do this in a specific way. I don't know what the end
Yeah.
game is, if it's what I said, or if it was just to get to this point where now she can bang other dudes. I don't know. But there's a plan at work. I just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. Trying to find one good one. A lot of people are just asking about why there's no footage.
Oh, this is good because it is that, but it's not.
Okay.
This is talking about the gravity of the situation. Memes about Bravo. Do we really think it was that bad if nothing was recorded or leaked? The gravity of the situation. I think
That's
that
what I'm
Meredith
saying.
clearly was because of Mary's
Yeah.
response to it.
Yeah, I do think, like I said, I think it was right at that line, but where there's certain things being said, like hair pulling is standing out to me, but there were other things being said.
Well, it's
I do
physical, so
think
that's the difference.
I do think again, Brittany is warranted in her feelings because I'm sure it was the entire fucking flight. The Meredith was just going on and on and on. And at some point you hit fatigue where you're like, all right, this is unbelievable and this is enough. But she was probably getting a little bit louder and she was saying more and saying more. And that's enough to concern anybody. So the concern is still there and Meredith's behavior is still there. But I don't think it got to the point where she got up and it was physical or did anything like got in her face or anything like that. I think it does get a little overblown because that is something that, like that person just said, phones would have come out at some point
You would
or
think.
somebody would have gotten involved. You would think. So the fact that it didn't, and we're not getting anything like, aside from Brittany, anything specific like Meredith got out of her seat and came after her or something. I don't think any of that stuff happened.
Well, here's what I need to happen. This entire season may hinge on this. We've done something like this before.
Mm-hmm.
A big moment occurred. There may or may not have been footage of it. The Heather getting punched by Jen. We
Mhm.
spent the whole fucking season speculating, watching them speculate, talking about this black eye over and over and over again. And it was a bad season. That was season 3. It was the only season they've had where I was like, this isn't fun. I can't do that with this. If we need Mary to clear it up,
Yeah.
say what she saw, and the rest needs to just be chalked up to we won't see. I can't do
There is
another
a
thing
third
where it's
option.
like,
Just considering who it involves. And this, I wouldn't really care for this, but it would be better than the first option that you came up with. There's a chance because it's Brittany that it gets swept under the rug pretty quickly and nobody
could be.
really deals with it anymore.
I don't think
They
so,
ju-
only because of the Meredith and Mary of it all. I don't think Mary's gonna
Yeah.
let it sweep.
Well, I think Mary might just start distancing herself. But I don't blame her, honestly. If I had a conversation with somebody and they were that delusional about it, I'd probably start distancing myself a little bit. And maybe she won't talk about it as much anymore. But because it's Brittany, I think Brittany is still going to be stuck on it. It just matters if everybody else is still talking about it for weeks and we still don't know what happens. Like you said, it's going to be Jen Shaw and Heather again. But because it's Brittany, I have some faith that it might blow over a little quicker at some point.
I have faith in this cast. I have faith
Yeah.
in this show. I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's just I had like PTSD creeping. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, we've done this before with the footage and
Yeah,
what
for sure.
happened, and I can't go down that path again. But
Yeah,
this,
I'm with you.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not even nervous that's going to happen. That was just a potential pitfall that may come from this whole thing. But the mid-season trailer looks awesome. I'm stoked for the rest of this season. I need next week to be here sooner than later because this left me on a cliffhanger. I'm like, I need to know more. I got to know what the fuck happened. But yeah, just wow, great TV, just
Great
top
TV.
tier. We're in the
All
good
around.
times. We're in the good times. So acknowledge it, take it all in, everybody. But that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
Well, that's our show. Bros gotta go.